Hello, everyone.
Hey
Welcome to this week's episode of Monarch Voices. We hope
Monarch
everyone
Voices.
is doing well and has had a great and peaceful week. Dawn, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot better.
A lot better. Good,
Yes,
good.
yes,
It's been
yes.
a very, very interesting week for us.
Yeah, I would say anyone that questions whether how easy or hard it is to form a business with a sibling.
Oh, jump ahead. That's
No,
actually one of my podcast topics
sorry.
for this week.
Oh, okay.
So we will get into that.
Good stuff.
But let's go ahead and get started. I'll start with the announcements around
Sure.
the cottage.
Sure.
Just so everyone knows, we do have our mindset and board break event with Alisha Copper Wells, mindset specialist, tomorrow.
Super excited.
So excited for that. That will be at noon. Right after our yoga class with Yin Yoga with Sherry. So we will be like really focused tomorrow. Also, as everyone knows, every Tuesday we have R&B yoga with Sheree Jones. And just a quick announcement about the vendors that are still needed for both our Thanksgiving marketplace
Okay.
and our small business Saturday pop-up shop. So all of you vendors out there, please, we will put the application down in the comments if you are interested in joining the Monarch community for the holiday marketplace, Thanksgiving. If you have goodies, if you're a food vendor and you have goodies and treats that you want to come here and sell, you definitely have access to this space. So please take advantage of that. Also, I want to mention that open mic night will be next Friday. The calendar got a little tricky with us this week with the month starting on Friday. I actually thought open mic night was last night. Good thing I didn't show up and start singing. But we'll do open mic night next Friday, just because, like I said, the week kind of got the month kind of got a little screwy for us with the days of the week and everything. I don't think I have anything else for around the cottage. Do we have any hot topics from Dawn?
Just of course the election results and how everybody's feeling and what they're going through after the election, whether they're happy of the winner or they're sad of the winner.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling, I think that it was a very hard decision to make, right? And whichever candidate that you chose, most of us went into it knowing that we were choosing the better of two evils, right? We're not completely happy. We didn't go through a formal approval process for Kamala, and so that kind of and she does have a good resume, right? She has a good resume,
very good resume,
and but it just seemed like that whole change. I don't know, the momentum, I think, never got to where it needed to be for her to win.
Yes.
And,
I have thought about this a lot too. And actually the day after the election, a girlfriend of mine, got a few of us together for lunch because we're just probably sitting in our houses like trying to process this. So I have had a chance to kind of talk through this. And at this point, I'm content with the results. It is what it is at this point. But if you recall, when Kamala received this nomination, or we thought she was going to be in the position to take over a campaign that wasn't hers,
right?
I was not very happy about it. So I think that from the initial point, it may have been perceived that I was not for Kamala, but I really was not for the position that she was put in and just the process overall, right? So I talked a lot about Black women being put in positions where they have to jump in at the last minute, play Superman, become likable, let everybody know everything's going to be okay. I'll put the team on my back and I'll do all this. But the reality of it is whether you agree with her as a candidate or not, the bottom line is that, in my opinion, the Democrats need to take accountability for this botched election.
Yeah.
Because we were not giving, like you said, the proper vetting process. I understand where we were with President Biden and his health and everything, but it really,
which I think they knew about before this.
The timeline really put Kamala in an almost a no-win situation, because I think she had 90 or 100 days to prepare to run for president. Think about that realistically.
Yeah.
You have 90 days to prepare for being president. And, like I said, it's just, that was always my fear, was that when a woman was being put in the position of almost an unwinnable situation,
right. and
then we got to go through the motions, we got to put our chucks on, we got to get our pearls out, we got to do all of this,
right?
And we know we're fighting against the odds. Why not, instead of women being so adamant that we have to continue this struggle, why not back up and say, no, we need a level playing field? As much of it is an honor that you want me to run for president, put one of your boys in here and have his reputation go through this.
Yeah. And the way and what you're speaking, it's not Republicans. It's against Democrats.
That's
just people.
That's just
people that and that's just the role that
exactly
the woman plays.
The other thing I want to say is that the election night at Howard University, Kamala did not come out and speak. She waited to speak the next day. And I know there's been mixed feelings about that, but from number one, a person in leadership, when you are facing the people that have been looking up to you, it's not an easy conversation. What do you say? Especially when you probably had a victory speech planned. Number one. Number two, the thing that I found very interesting was, once again, we're talking about the position that she's in. Typically, that message that she delivered, even if she were losing, would have come from the President of the United States. You guys, let's keep forward. We're going to keep fighting. It would have been the president that was delivering that message. So once again, regardless of how you feel about her, let's look at the position that she was put in. And then President Biden comes out. We'll get off of this topic soon, but then President Biden comes out. A whole who's the leader?
It was very.
And you can see some of us are still fired up about it.
And I think I saw something that's on that said that this will be the most remembered. Mm-hmm. This will go down in history as the most memorable election.
Yeah,
and not for good stuff.
Not for good stuff, because one, you have a felon that has been allowed to run for president. You have the existing and elected. You have the existing president whose mental health and mental capabilities clearly were lacking and have been for some time. And then you have a Hail Mary pass to probably, under different circumstances, a pretty good wide receiver. Mm-hmm. But
I did this. That's basketball.
Well, no. Sometimes if you see some of those catches, those Hail Marys, they can bring them down.
Happen, but it didn't happen.
All right. Okay. What else is on Dawn's hot topics?
So the next thing I'll talk
that was a good one.
Yeah. The next thing I'll talk about is eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's do seasonal blues.
Oh, sad.
Just not sad, but just make sure that we're aware, right? Mm-hmm. The definition for seasonal blues: seasonal affective disorder.
Sad.
Yep.
SAD. That's why I said sad.
Yep. Oh, okay. I didn't catch the joke.
No, it's not a joke. That's what it's.
I mean, I didn't catch the pun or whatever you were doing. I didn't catch
Okay,
it.
so SAD, what's it stand for?
It's SAD. It's seasonal affective disorder,
Mm-hmm.
and it's considered a depressive disorder, a subtype of major depression with seasonal changes.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much it says that this means that it starts in autumn and lasts through the winter months, improving in the spring. About 5% of Americans have SAD, and women are 4 times more likely to experience it.
Wow.
Do you, I know for me, so I'll put mine out first.
Okay.
Okay, so I know for me it's very real, right? Because, for one, our dad's birthday is in November, and sometimes actually on the actual Thanksgiving day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of starts, for me, that kind of starts the holiday celebration or lack of, celebrating. And then you continue, then it's Christmas, and you've already mourned that person wasn't there at Thanksgiving and their birthday, and now it's another holiday, which is Christmas. And I don't know if you remember, but Christmas, he made a big deal.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal. And so I'll say that, yeah, I really do find that that time of the year, I won't say depressed, but I'm very aware.
Mm-hmm.
I'm maybe very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it almost kind of like it never actually was the same for me after that. Your thoughts?
That is very, very insightful. And thank you for sharing that. So yes, I do. I have experienced seasonal depression. I think mine is more around the daylight, right? Mm-hmm. So I had a very hard time, especially working in an office where you would go in when it would be dark and you would get off when it was dark. Mm-hmm. So that always kind of triggered a lot for me. But I'm still processing, just from being as your sister, I'm still processing what you said about Daddy's birthday. And yeah, the holidays for you have not been the same since he passed, and you've not always been sad on holidays, or you've not always had that. So yeah, there's a couple things that I want to say to that. One of the pieces of advice that someone who had been grieving and mourning was given was, when those milestones like birthdays or anniversaries of the day of people passing have happened, to try to do something around that time to honor their memory, so that you can change the mindset to then associate that person's birthday with something successful,
right?
Or something, a celebration, right? I know in Jared's family, on the day that Tiffany has passed, there's always a balloon release, and we go to eat at Tiffany's favorite restaurant.
Right.
So
right.
Even though it may be an emotional, it's still something we're looking forward to, because we're like, oh, we're going to go to Red Lobster. They got our table. They know us every year. You know what I mean? So,
cool.
You know what I mean? So I would, maybe this year we can think of something that we can do. And that we can start, because we already, we got Ernie's candles everywhere. So we are keeping his memory alive, but maybe let's try to do something that would be a celebration, and that we can have a birthday party for him every year, and that's a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, Dawn. I had another thought, but But yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I know a lot of people are dealing with that. And okay, I know what I wanted to say. You said that you are more aware of it around this time of the year. So because now you are aware of it, that gives you the opportunity to prepare for it. So one of the things, and like I said, I try not to be a know-it-all, but at the same time, I've been on a mental health journey for a long time, so I've got tools. One of the other things that I've done in therapy is I've put together a year calendar. Mm-hmm. I've looked at the whole year, and I plotted days that I knew were going to be triggers. Like June, I got Daddy passing in June. November, we know it's a bunch of stuff happens in November. So when you look at your calendar, the other piece of advice or suggestion that I also have received is you can then start planning around those days. Right. So you may get to the point where every Thanksgiving you want to be in Hawaii, right, or on Bermuda, right, or wherever. Yeah. So if you are aware of things, that's what allows you to start preparing and changing. Nobody want to be sad every year at the same time.
And I say that I totally I'm better than what I used to be, and I am not for nothing. I think it has to do with my grands, because Christmas last year, do you remember all the lights that I got?
Oh my! And the blow ups, the Mickey Mouses. It was like that whole yard was blowing up. And so but you have a new fence this year. You're gonna have to start mapping that out.
I've already started looking at, what needs to happen. Yeah. Okay. So my blow-ups might have to get bigger.
Yeah, because they have to clear the fence now. Right. Oh goodness. Yeah. It's like the Santa Claus. And you gotta do holidays at the cottage. So pretty soon we're gonna be seeing like snowflakes and winter wonderlands and all that good stuff. Yeah. So I think that was pretty much it for me. I think I'm gonna hold my other topic for a later
date. And I'll just give you a heads up that it is around middle child syndrome and some of the stuff that the middle child has to put up with. Or goes through.
Okay, middle child. So wait, so we'll talk about that too. Yeah, let everybody know, all you middle children, please tune in, because next week on Dawn's Hot Topics, she's gonna be talking about all of it. Everybody, all y'all middle children have to go through. Yeah, it's rough.
And the thing about it is, it starts as children, and it's still even in adults.
But so being aware allows you to change dynamics, change behavior. So that is true. I look forward to that conversation.
Yeah. Do you have any?
I have a BMW.
What's your BMW?
Well, we talked about it already. The challenges of being sisters and working together.
Oh my goodness, that's real.
It is real, y'all. It is a real challenge. Yeah. It is emotional. Yeah. It is at times unprofessional, because you would never say and do certain things in a professional environment with your business partner. It is just crazy. Yeah. It is intense.
Yeah. I think this week was very intense. I think this week was very intense. I think that
somebody told us that we need to check our cycles. Yeah. Because we may be synced up too good.
And that may very well be. That may very well be. This week was intense, but I appreciate the fact that it was intense. And we can still be here today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We can still. You may get on my nerves, and I may want to curse and yell. But the real thing is that we only want the best for each other.
That is true.
We want to see each other grow.
Yes.
And we want to see our family grow.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So if you keep that at the forefront when those explosions do happen, it's easier to kind of navigate.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that the explosions are right, because they definitely are draining. They're definitely emotional.
Yes.
Because we have such a small, I don't want to say family, but a small
Community.
community. When one of us, or when two of us are at odds, it affects the whole circle.
Yeah.
And it's just something that we're aware of. We're working through.
We're working through it. That's what I said. We're all a work in progress.
Yeah.
But it's just very important that we continue to show ourselves and each other, grace and patience, understanding and forgiveness. And as long as we are committed to moving forward and growing and being better people, like, you know what I mean? Like you said,
that's it.
We don't, you don't want to be sad or have, if we got to go to, that's why people end up going to Florida for the winter months too.
Oh yeah, well, I wasn't gonna go for the winter months. I was transitioning.
Oh, you were ready to
Florida.
Okay.
For permanent.
Yeah. See,
you know what
so
I mean?
we got to do what makes us happy, right?
Well, and that wasn't. It wasn't necessarily that it was a happy thought for me, and we can go into that. Also, it wasn't that it was a happy thought. My some of my old habits. One is flight. You know what I mean? I flee a situation, so it doesn't have to become bigger. I've realized that flight is one of my Achilles heel.
It may be your Achilles heel. You may something you be aware of.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, it's fine if that is the case. But I think sometimes when we flee, the situation then still becomes bigger in our minds.
Of course.
So it's like if I would have just stayed and realized that we could have just talked it out or whatever, and it could have been over and done with. But when you flee, it doesn't get a chance to kind of, it ends up here. It doesn't get that chance to come back or back around. So so when you flee, you're fleeing up here and you're staying up here by yourself until you can bring yourself back down.
And
whereas we could just take that little ride together.
I will say that I feel like I've come a long way because I normally, some of the conversations, even though they may not come out in the correct manner, and they may come out with emotions tied to them, they're starting to come out. And for me, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. But I realized that the influence that I too have on other people and their emotions, and it makes you have to second guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But and talking about the middle child syndrome, it was saying that the middle child sometimes is the peacemaker, or sometimes they are insecure, or they are just a couple other things that they say that I can see kind of in some characteristics that I can see that may relate. But I'm working through that.
You're working through it,
and it's just super fun to know that I'm becoming a better person.
Absolutely.
And
that's not always easy. Some days, look, hard work.
Girl,
no pain, no gain.
Girl, I wanted to punch you in the face.
Girl, I would have let you.
No,
because I was standing right there like, you want to punch? Go ahead.
If the walls of the cottage could talk.
Right there.
Man.
I would have let you punch him, man. Because I was like, if that's what we need right now to move forward,
that's what we gotta
here
do.
It is.
That's what we gotta do. And disclaimer: violence is never the answer.
Violence is never the answer.
Violence is never the answer. But in all fun, we
We always bounce back.
And what is it? We're trying to break what?
Break generational cycles, breaking generational curses, breaking those cycles that have been passed down from generation to generation. And that is what makes it difficult, because those old habits die hard.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for everyone to, if you're like pulling this load up to the top of the mountain, it's very easy just to let everything fall down but you're so close to breaking those cycles and breaking those chains. You got to keep going.
You got to keep going.
You got to keep going.
You got to keep going. And the joy and the relief that you will feel, maybe not at that very moment, but once you're able to go back and sit and reflect. Because I know I can go to 100 really, really fast, and then it takes me a minute to gather myself. But I just love us. I love our family. I love the growth that we're making, and I just love us.
Oh, give me a hug, Sissy. I love you, Sissy.
I love you.
All right. Any other topics for this week?
No, girl.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You didn't talk that much this week.
Huh?
You didn't talk that much.
Listen, I told you guys I'm working on my throat chakra, so I typically do talk a lot, but I'm more aware of it, right?
Yeah.
So that may be something that starts to balance out. The other thing, speaking of the throat chakra that we're working on, is the mantras that I really like. So when we're going through our practice, the mantras, I speak with love, I speak with peace. And the mantras, I feel calm and confident when I speak. Those are things that just calm me down a little bit, so I don't always have to speak a mile a minute or speak all the time.
But don't think that your words aren't valued.
Yeah, but
so
I
your
gotta
words,
use them wisely.
Your words are value, so don't.
Yeah, it's good.
Keep talking.
We all good. It's
Keep
all
talking.
good. All good. All right, Monarchs. We're going to wrap this episode up. You guys have a great weekend. We hope to see you at the board break event tomorrow. If not, please come out. Join us at the Cottage. It is growth happening. And we are in October, the month of gratitude. So
we're in November now.
What month is it?
November. Did you just go to the
look, my days and everything
are all messed up.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's November.
Guys,
we're in gratitude.
Yeah, you guys, you just stay positive and just stay positive. Peace,
love, and butterflies.